Good morning, my beautiful MON family. Happy Monday. And come here because let me talk to you like your big sister who already had her coffee and is not about to play with you today. Now, let's be honest. If your life started listening to everything you said about it this week, would you be excited or would you low key be terrified of what you just created? Because your life is already listening. You just haven't been paying attention.
This is MON, still showing up.
Hosted by Dennis.
This is a funny one, which I almost, when I was reading this, wanted to throw my computer. Mercedes, you could probably relate to this. Okay. So someone said, I just moved to a new town, so I didn't really know anybody. Found someone to do my taxes. I trusted the vibes and didn't ask too many questions. Everything went smooth. Fast forward, my refund hits, just not my account. So now I'm calling, texting, going off on the person who did my taxes. That I pulled up, like, run me my money. And I'm not fighting, but I am loud. Like, I'm in there making a whole scene, people staring at me, voices rise, energy was very high. Meanwhile, my grandma's in the car just watching everything go down. So after everything, I go back to the car like, you wasn't going to help me? And she said, baby, I'm not getting involved in that. You already made enough noise. But when I got home, I was still mad, still not talking about it, checking everything one more time. And come to find out, I sent her the wrong bank account. Okay. I mean, I don't get a tax return, but I feel like if I was to have kids, once I pop out them kids, you get a nice little tax refund. So that's the first thing that I would double check that she put that bank account. What is you doing, sweetheart? But it's okay. I'm a little embarrassed for you because you caused that scene. But you stood 10 toes. She stood on business. But here's a lesson. I mean, next time before you react, just make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. Okay?
Please.
But at least you showed up. You showed up to the person's place and you were like, run me my money. So that's all that matters. At least, hopefully, you got your money. How would that work then if it was deposited to a different bank account?
I don't know. That sounds like a lot of work, though.
Yeah, we need to follow up and
Mm-hmm.
she got to let us know if she actually got it or not. Now, the second Mon story, someone said, I got a call into I got called into a meeting at my child's school. The teacher tells me that my kid might need extra help because he's not reading in class. And I'm sitting there like, "Excuse me, my child reads at home all the time." Teacher is looking at me like she doesn't believe me. So I said, "Okay, let's test that now." I handed my child a book right in front of the teacher and I said, "Go ahead, read." And when I tell you my child started reading like he was narrating an audiobook, teacher was quiet, real quiet. So I looked at her and said, "So what was the issue?"
Period.
And come to find out my child wasn't struggling. She just didn't feel like talking in that class. Okay.
Oh, we got a shy baby.
Oh. No, but I mean, at the end of the day, just because somebody is quiet doesn't mean there's something that's wrong. Maybe they're just don't feel like speaking up and that's okay. I remember, do you remember back in the day we would play popcorn
Yup,
and
hated that shit.
popcorn, but you know what was the messed up part? I would always pick on the
You always picked on the person who struggled.
Oh my god.
Boy,
But
shit.
you know what? I'm pretty sure that some of them picked on me thinking I was struggling because I was bilingual. So Hey, there's that. But at least your child showed up. All right, Mon family. So continue sharing your Mon stories. And today's topic, we're going to be talking about the power of the tongue. And in the Bible, it already says this: life and death are in the power of the tongue, which literally means every time you speak, you're either giving life to your future or killing it before it even has a chance. Now, I'm going to be really honest with you and respectfully, okay? Some of you are out here talking about your life like it already filed for bankruptcy. Like, oh, I'm so tired. My life is a mess and nothing works for me. And it's 9:17 in the morning and you haven't even brushed your teeth yet. And you already surrender to life. Like, Lord, take me now. But let's be serious, okay? You wake up, grab your phone before your feet even touch the floor, and start narrating your life like it's a sad Netflix documentary. Okay. So, what I want to say with all of this is stop narrating your life before you even speak positivity out there. Your words are like a remote. I'm always broke. I've never have time. I can't stay consistent. That's you pressing buttons aggressively like the TV owes you money, okay? And the universe, it's the most obedient TV ever. Power of manifestation. It doesn't argue, it doesn't question you. It keeps playing whatever channel you leave it on. Even if it's, 24/7, why is my life like this marathon? Okay. And the scary part is you've been pressing the same buttons for so long, you think it's just how life is. And let me break this down for you. First one is, successful people, and I said this in an episode before, they don't rely on motivation. They remove those decisions. Now, when we think about somebody famous like Steve Jobs, he wore the same outfit every single day, not because he didn't have style, but because he didn't want to waste energy deciding. And he thought for himself, less decisions, more execution. Meanwhile, you wake up and your brain is already fighting for its life. And in its human nature, what am I going to eat? What am I going to wear? Scroll or get up, start now or later. And by the time you have to work, you're mentally tired. There's something called decision fatigue. The more choices you make, the worse your decisions get. And there was a study on judges, and they found something crazy out, and they gave better decisions earlier in the day and worse ones later. Not because the case changed, but because their energy did, right? So let me say this clearly. You're not always lazy. You're just mentally drained from unnecessary decisions. Now, this third one is that, people think successful people feel like working every day. They don't. Okay. Kobe Bryant didn't wake up motivated. He just decided who he was. And successful people don't win because they feel better. They win because they show up the same regardless of how they feel. And I'm going to make it a little spicy. Your environment is stronger than your motivation. If your phone is next to you, you're going to check it. If your distractions are around you, you're going to get distracted. And one thing that I started doing is I started putting my phone on the other side. So I actually have to get up in the morning and turn off my alarm. You are more disciplined when you have fewer distractions. So, no, you don't need more discipline. You just might need fewer distractions. And the final fact that I'm going to give you, okay, and this is where people get wrong most of the time, is that you think you need motivation first, but no, you don't. You just need to act. Then that motivation will follow. You don't wait to feel ready, you just move, and your readiness will catch up. Now, back to what I wanted to state and why this is, why I'm saying this to bring everything back together. It's not that you're unlucky. It's not that your life is against you. It's that you rely on feelings instead of systems. You waste energy on small decisions and you wait for motivation instead of moving. You say, I don't know why nothing has changed. Well, let me tell you something. You don't need a new life, and I'm going to continue saying this. You need a new way of showing up to the one that you already have. And I'm going to sound like a broken record until this is ingrained in your mind. Now, let me tell you this story, okay? And something, real that kind of hits your soul a little bit. But there was this small shop in a quiet town. Nothing fancy, maybe Wilkes-Barre, who knows. But the owner had one rule. Every single morning, no matter how she felt, she turned the light on. Some mornings she was exhausted, some mornings she was broken, some mornings she questioned everything, and still the light went on. Across the street, there was a better shop, better location, more potential, but the light was inconsistent. I'll open when I feel motivated. Today feels slow. Maybe tomorrow. Months later, the first shop was thriving. The second shop was completely empty. Everybody asked her, "How do you do it?" And she said, "I stopped waiting to feel ready. I just showed up as the person I wanted to become." That light, that's your words. Every time you speak life instead of doubt, you turn it on. Opportunities don't knock on potential, they knock on consistency. And let me say something real quick. Some of you don't have a discipline problem, you have a feeling problem. You only show up when you feel like it. You only believe in yourself when it's convenient, and you only speak life when life's already looking good. But the people who change their lives, they speak differently on bad days. They show up when it's uncomfortable. They keep their word even when nobody is clapping. And I'm going to say something a little bit funny, but some of you be like, "I need a sign from God." Meanwhile, God's like, "I gave you a mouth and you used it to cancel your own blessings. Now what?" Now, I will say, sometimes, the power of the tongue is important, but also I want you to think about projections of other people, right? Because not all those thoughts start with you. There was a moment someone said, something small. You're doing too much. You're not ready. You always mess things up. And instead of questioning it, you repeat it. Now, it sounds like your voice, but it's not, because you didn't create that, you adopted it. Now, some of you are living your life based off opinions that were never even qualified to guide you. So be careful with projections. And your life doesn't, as I mentioned earlier, doesn't respond to potential, it responds to patterns. Now, you listening to this, and you'll probably relate to one of these things that I'm saying. Let's say, for an example, you come home after another long day. You're tired, you're overwhelmed, bills on the counter, stressed in your chest. Maybe you're alone. Maybe your relationship is falling apart. Maybe you hate your job. Maybe you're trying your best and still nothing feels like it's enough. And one word slips out. "I'm so tired of struggling. Why is everything so hard? I can't keep doing this." And then tomorrow feels exactly the same. I see you. You're not weak. You're just carrying a lot, and that's okay. But here's the importance that I want to stick with you. Even in the moments, you still have power in your mouth. You don't have to feel hopeful. You just have to stop agreeing with the struggle. And here's the part that really changes everything. Your words don't just affect your life, they shape who you believe you are. If you keep saying, "I'm this type of person who quit," you'll become that. But when you start saying, "I'm the type of person who shows up," your behavior starts catching up to your words. That's why you got to continue showing up, Mon family, because your identity is built by what you repeatedly say about yourself. Now, As I close this MON this week, if you catch yourself with the same old voice, I want you to stop it and say, that is not my word anymore. My word is, I am stronger than this moment. I keep showing up. And your word would be, better days are coming. Because let me say something, and I need you to really hear me. Some of you pray for a better life, but you speak like you don't even believe God can give it to you. So, which one is it? Because your prayers sound faithful, but your words sound defeated. And your life is going to follow the loudest voice. So, this week, decide which one it's going to be. You got the remote. Now change the channel. And I'll be here. Same time, same place, still showing up.